What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Miner's Philosophy. Something like that, I think this series is called. I've only done one before, and if you're new to this, only finding this video, then, the first one I did was about social anxiety. And, this is just a series I do in between my Let's Play episodes every now and then, on occasion to do things like strip mining in a place like this and do the mundane things that don't really seem to go well in Let's Plays in general. And, I just do this little series every now and then to talk about something that's, kind of as boring as the gameplay itself. So, anyway, as I said last time, we talked about social anxiety, and today I wanted to talk about something maybe even a little more sensitive, which is depression. And it's something that's kind of difficult to talk about. It's obviously a very sensitive topic for a lot of people, and a lot of people are afraid to talk about it, and I am too. I am a bit nervous about trying to share my thoughts on this. I don't want to, anything to come off as like insensitive or disregarding of people's feelings and whatnot. So I'm trying to avoid that if possible. Sorry, I'm focusing on my torch placement here. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and just start strip mining and get into the topic here. So, if anything comes off as insensitive or something like that, I apologize. It's not my intention to disregard anyone's feelings, and I by no means intend to, suggest that my view is, universal for everyone's problems or anything. This is just my take, my experience, and, hopefully it'll help someone. Sorry for the ridiculously long intro. If you're still watching, then thanks. And maybe I'll actually start talking about something here. But basically, depression isn't fun. And obviously it can lead to even more disturbing things like suicidal thoughts. And, it can hinder your ability to function in everyday life and, things like that. I'm just going to get rid of some of this stuff here. My mind is really rambling right now. I am very sorry if this is not coming through as well as it should, but it's a daunting task to talk about this, and it's difficult to kind of figure out where to start. But, anyway, a lot of things can cause depression. Sometimes I guess maybe it's just clinical, chemical things, if that's what you would designate as clinical depression. And a lot of people go on medications for it and things like that. If you watch the social anxiety video, I kind of have a thing about meds. I honestly don't feel like medication is usually the best way to go about things. Not that it can't help some people, but in a lot of the experience I've had, the observation of other people who are dealing with things like depression and anxiety, medications don't seem to really help. They're, and it also kind of puts the person in a bad position as far as helping themselves, because they're looking for something to do it for them. And they're hoping to get relief, which is completely understandable, but it puts them in a position of relying on something and not actually trying to work on themselves and get a lasting solution. But, that's just my take on it. And, therapy and all those things, I'm sure can be helpful, but I honestly don't believe it's going to get you very far if you're not in a position to want to help yourself. Not that everyone who goes for therapy or medications isn't trying to help themselves, but it makes it too easy to kind of sit back and hope that something's going to fix you rather than be able to do something for yourself. And the dogs are going to start barking now, so that's great. But anyway, in my experience, just things I've learned dealing with bits of depression in my life, which I would think is probably, or at least it seemed at the time to be above the average level of just feeling down, you know? Things like that, the unfortunate and unpleasant experience of feeling suicidal, or all the great things that come with it. So basically, the first step of pretty much any issue, like you'll probably see if you watch the social anxiety video I did, that my take on it is the very first step of any issue, and including depression, obviously, is accepting it. A lot of times people will feel a certain way, like negative or depressed or anxious or whatever you may be feeling, some kind of psychological, emotional pain of some sort. And your first response is to sort of judge it. You feel like you question it. Why do I feel this way? And you feel like you shouldn't feel that way. And that just makes you more conflicted, because you're telling yourself you shouldn't be feeling how you're feeling, and then you become confused because obviously you still feel that way, and it doesn't just go away by telling yourself that you shouldn't be. So the first thing is to stop doing that. Just accept the fact that, you feel the way you do, and treat it as something that's just a given. Not that it has to last, that it has to be there, but just if it's there, acknowledge that it's there, and don't question it. Don't, further conflict yourself by telling yourself that you shouldn't feel that way. Because if you're not accepting it, then you're not going to be able to do anything about it. So, that's like the first thing that I would suggest. Because, when you're conflicted and confused, that perpetuates negative feelings. Like, you're going to feel like, there's something wrong with you, and you're going to be conflicted and confused because you feel like you shouldn't feel that way, and then that's going to make you even more negative because you feel like you're doing something wrong yet again. So it reinforces the negativity. If the issue is depression, then it's going to reinforce the depression, because you're going to be depressed about the fact that you're depressed. It's a very vicious cycle, and maybe I'm not describing it in a way that does it justice, but it's basically along those terms. And so that's the first step I would suggest is, if you're dealing with something, is just accept the fact. Don't keep fighting yourself over it, because it doesn't get you anywhere, and it doesn't put you in a position to learn from anything. It doesn't make you instantly better by telling yourself that you shouldn't be feeling the way you're feeling. You have to start with just accepting the fact that it's there. And, obviously there's different causes to depression, I can't really account for the fact that, some people may have chemical imbalances. I think a lot of it could be related to nutrition, or, vitamins, minerals, and all those things that could be lacking due to genetics, or maybe even like a location, like where you live or something. I don't know. But, I can't really account for chemical stuff. Maybe that's something you would have to go to a doctor about, but oftentimes depression is caused by circumstances, some kind of thing that you're having to go through, something that bothers you, and it wears you down, and like brings you down to that level of negativity. So you want to try to figure out exactly what's causing it. Like, determine if it's something that you can't seem to control. And I mean, really think about it. Sometimes it feels like it is something you can't control, that it's just happening to you. But if you really dig down and analyze yourself, and how you feel and what you're thinking at these times and whatnot, you kind of come to a point where you can discover what's causing it. And it can be like, one thing is, don't judge yourself if it seems like it's something that's dumb, you know. Don't feel like that whatever reason you have isn't a justifiable reason to feel the way you feel. If that is the case, if you feel like that whatever it is not a good enough reason to feel the way you do, then don't let that cause you to disregard how you feel. Use that as a way of telling yourself that you can get over it. Like, if it's something that you don't feel is worth the like the energy that you're dispersing over that issue, then, you know, use that as a means to get over it in a way that's positive. But just don't judge yourself for whatever you feel is causing it, because if you once again, if you tell yourself you shouldn't be feeling that way because of that reason or whatever, then it just causes more conflict, because you feel like you're doing something wrong by allowing it to get to you that way. So you have to deal with it on its terms. You can't just make yourself better by telling yourself that you don't have a reason to feel the way you're feeling. But so that's the first thing, and if you can do that, then I think it's a huge step to feeling better and coping with it by, you know, just accepting the fact that it's there. After that, I guess it comes to the point of dogs barking. No. Can't. Oh, here we go. You know, coping with the depression and the things that cause it. Once you're kind of at that point of sort of knowing, then obviously it's just a matter of coping with it and figuring a way to feel better. So, one thing you don't want to do is dwell on the negative thoughts that you're having and the negative feelings. Like, it's easy to do that and then reinforce the negative thoughts and feelings by dwelling on them. And what I mean by dwelling on them is not so much that you acknowledge that they exist and you think about it in terms of trying to feel better. It's about allowing yourself to just sit there in it and like wallow in it and just make yourself feel worse and worse by thinking about it in like a repetitious cycle of just, you know, just negativity that just goes in circular motions in your head and just makes you feel worse and worse to the point of almost debilitating you, even if not completely debilitating you. So the best thing to do is, like, a lot of people will say, you know, just try to be happy, try to think about other things, don't think about those things, and that's a lot easier said than done. But that more or less is the key. But the thing is like, you can't think about it in terms of, I want to be happy, I'm just going to think about something else, because you have to acknowledge and deal with the negativity first. You have to know what you're doing. Otherwise, you'll just be like trying to cover it up, and it's not going to get you anywhere. So, in that case, you know, don't focus on just trying to be happy and trying to think positive. You have to be at the point of being tired of feeling down and being tired of things making you feel that way and like dominating your thought process. You have to be tired of it and want to feel better. If you don't want to be better, which sounds weird, you know, if you never dealt with depression, it's hard to imagine that someone could just want to feel depressed, but it's almost like a comfort zone when you're depressed. Like, you don't want to feel any differently. Why that is, you know, I'm not really sure, other than maybe it's just the comfort zone of feeling down and not having to worry about becoming down. You know, not having to worry about being set up and then let down again. I don't know. But there is like a comfort zone aspect to it, and you have to like want to get out of that before you can really go anywhere else. So if you're at that point, you want to feel better, then you just have to focus on not dwelling on the negativity, not dwelling on the negative thoughts. Diamonds! And you have to want to get rid of the negativity. basically. And you don't want to just sit there and dwell on those negative thoughts. So like rather than focus on, you know, singing a happy song and doing the happy dance, even when you don't feel like it, you just focus on not dwelling on the negative thoughts. And by that I mean, if you can't be happy, then try to think of something more neutral. Try to think of something that brings you joy, you know, at best. And if not, then just tune out. Like, try to think of things that just kind of give you an escape and let you take a break from that internal thought process. You know, if you play games, obviously, then that's a good way to do it. And like I said, that it's not going to be healthy if you're just trying to cover it up. You have to acknowledge that it's there. You're not trying to cover it up, but you don't want to dwell on it. There has to be a specific goal, is to not want to not bury it or cover it up, but just to acknowledge that it's there and get away from it so that it doesn't bring you down further. You're trying to give yourself a break, not cover up the issue. So it's important to remember that. So yeah, if you can't think happy, which is difficult when you're depressed, obviously, then try to think neutral. Just try to not let it bog you down. Like, imagine that it's mud and, you know, you're trying to just rest, give yourself a break, because a big thing that causes depression to wear you down so much is that it does make you tired, like emotionally and mentally, even physically, it drains you. So getting rest, mental and emotional rest, is a big thing, because when you're tired, it's going to be very difficult to fight off the feelings. So you have to give yourself a break. That's very important, I would say, because if you're tired, like I said, you're not going to get anywhere. Sorry, I'm focusing on trying to do this real quick. The pickaxes are going quickly. All right. So yeah, you have to give yourself a break. Once you've accepted how you feel and you're not trying to deny it or criticize yourself for it anymore, then, you know, figure out the things that are making you down and try to give yourself a break from just dwelling on those things and letting them bring you down even more. So that's a couple of big things, I would say. And that's a way to cope with it and not let it bring you down to those really deep, dark levels where you feel suicidal and or just apathetic. And if you do feel those ways, you know, it's the same thing. Accept it and acknowledge it, that it's there. Don't try to deny it, but just try not to let it overtake you. You know, realize that you can take a break from it, and it's good for you to take a break from it and to regain your energy and not just let it drain you constantly. And then if you can find things that make you happy and things that, you know, help you to feel better, then that's, you know, even better. So, you know, just, if you can't focus on being happy, though, just focus on being neutral. Try not to just dwell on the negativity so much and let it overtake you so easily, because it's very, very easy to do that. And it can be difficult to let that go, too. Like I said, that comfort zone element, almost like a Stockholm Syndrome of depression. And you have to be tired of it and just want to feel better. You have to be tired of just letting it overtake you. It's like, you know, an enemy, you might say. It's not your friend. So, like, you know, those are ways to cope, and then, like, it'll naturally progress from there. Which brings me to the next point, which is to remember that it's a process. A lot of people want to feel better, and they want to feel better now, and that's why they go to medications and therapy, so that they can try to feel better but not take the responsibility of, you know, it not working or whatever. So you have to remember that like anything, it's a process. It's not just going to happen overnight, and you're not looking for the quick fix. What you want, the quick fix, is helping yourself to feel better now in any way that you can, healthy ways that you can, and the process will take care of itself. If you make those steps, it's just like any journey. Like, you know, you can't just skip to the end. You have to take the steps, and it's accumulative. So don't judge yourself based on the progress. Like, you may not even be able to see the progress that you're making. It adds up over time, and it's only once you've gotten to, like certain milestones that you may be able to look back and see that you've come a long way, or even just a short way, but you'll be able to see the improvement, and it'll remind you that, you're doing things right and that you're helping yourself. And there are setbacks. You will have bad days, and it's important not to judge yourself on those. Just because you have a bad day that seems like you've regressed, as long as you're still trying, it doesn't mean that you've regressed. It just means that it's just a hiccup. Things happen on any journey, and you're going to have little setbacks, but that doesn't mean that the journey's over, or that the progress you've made suddenly, doesn't matter, or that it didn't actually happen. You're always making progress as long as you're always trying. And like I said, you just may not be able to see it. So you just have to keep making those steps and keep trying to feel better, and it will add up over time. So don't judge yourself, or feel like you have a specific goal to reach or a time limit that you're on. You have to just let it play out naturally. It's a process, and you just have to endure it and try to feel better. It's a day-to-day thing, and you don't want to burden yourself with feeling like you need to be at a certain point by a certain time, or that you should be able to see a certain type or amount of progress in a certain amount of time, or anything like that. The goal and the focus is solely on feeling better and not letting it overtake you. My voice is getting dry. I need some water. 1 second. So yeah, those are a few of the tips that I have encountered in my experiences and observations of others, and there's a lot of mobs around us. But I hope that's helpful to someone. I'm sure there are things I'm missing or can't think of at the moment. And if that's the case, then feel free to comment and give me suggestions or whatever. If you have something you would like to discuss, a topic you would like me to cover, or anything, if you feel like this hasn't been a complete and utter waste of your time, then be sure to share those, and I would be glad to consider it. But those are some of the main things, like the fundamental steps. And everybody's got their own journey. You have to remember that you can't judge yourself based on how someone else does it or does something. Everyone has their own reasons and their own way of thinking and whatnot, and you have to give yourself time to be you and figure it out in a way that works for you. So that's another important thing, is to not use someone else's life and experience as a way to judge your own. And there can be goals, in that regard. Like, you see other people who are doing well, and not that you think they're above you or better than you, but you want to try and be more like that in your way. I wouldn't suggest trying to be just like them, but just a certain trait that you would like to adopt, and that's something you can work towards also. And it gives you kind of an idea of what you're trying to work towards, so that's always good. But those are self-improvements that I think would kind of come along on their own, and maybe shouldn't be part of your regimen of feeling better from depression or whatever. Self-improvement kind of rolls up into depression, I would say. You want to feel better about yourself, so that's what I'm getting at there. Sorry if I'm rambling. I'm kind of getting lost in the thinking right now, so ran into lava, so we're gonna close off this one. But yeah, those are a couple of the things that I know of, which I know I've said that a few times now. Sorry for the repetition, but I hope it's somewhat helpful. And of course, you may not suffer from it yourself. You may not have depression, but you may know someone who does, and maybe that's why you found the video, or maybe this video has helped you to acknowledge that maybe someone around you is depressed. And in that case, if you want to help someone who's depressed, then that's another issue altogether. A lot of people become impatient with someone who's depressed because, like I said, it can be a vicious cycle, and you can want to get better but not actually want to get better, if that makes sense. So if you're dealing with someone like that, then I would say the best thing you can do, or the best things you can do, the few things that can help them are, one is, the main thing is just being patient. Someone who's going through that, they're not on your time clock, they're not on someone else's time clock, they're not gonna just get better because you want them to. And it can be extremely uncomfortable for them and for you. If you're dealing with someone and you want to help them, but it just doesn't seem to be working, and everything you try just doesn't seem to go anywhere. And that's completely understandable, and it's frustrating, but they have to find it themselves. Like, you can't do it for them, and you can't force them to. So a big thing is just being patient with people, and acknowledging that they're going through something, and that what you need to do if you want to help them is just be patient. Oh my god, lava. And I lost the torch. Be patient and, try to be understanding and let them go through it, even if it is difficult and uncomfortable and all those things. Like, wanting to help them is good, but you can't let that cause you to push them. How did I miss this iron? Like, pushing people, making them feel like how they feel isn't justified and that they shouldn't be feeling that way, is not good at all. It's just like what I was saying, it causes there to be a lack of acceptance, and when you have no acceptance of an issue, then it just causes all sorts of conflict and confusion, and it really just exacerbates the problem a lot. So you don't want to make someone feel rushed. That's very important. So, patience. Once again, reiterated. Redundancy. But, that, and then try to help. If you can try to help. Through being patient. And through trying to be understanding and whatnot. But, like I said, it's not something you can just force. You have to, helping is oftentimes just being there for someone and letting them know that they're cared about and that you're there for them if and when they need you. Not forcing your help on them, but just the fact that you're there can go a long way to make them remind them and show them and make them feel that they're not alone, and that they don't have to deal with it on their own, and that they can go to someone who, even if you don't understand, you're willing to just be patient and be there for them and walk with them through what they're going through. So that's a big thing, because issues like depression and anxiety and things like that can very much make people feel like they're alone. And as tough as most people might want to be and not have to admit that being alone is difficult, I would be one of those people, honestly. It is destructive to always feel like you're alone, and that no one cares about you. Having people, even if the person doesn't show that they care and they act like maybe they would rather be alone, it still helps them to have people around. You don't have to actively be there. You don't have to hug them every day and tell them you love them, but just the fact that you're there anytime they want to listen, and that you would try to share your happiness with them if they would let you, not force them, but just be a presence. then that's a big way to help people. Because, like I said, they have to sort it out themselves. You can't do it for them, no matter how much you would like to. So, it's a big help to just have someone that you know is there. And they're not trying to make you do anything. They're actually just there for you and being patient and waiting for you to come out on the other side of it, you know? So that's a big thing you can do to help someone who's suffering from any kind of issue like that, especially depression. And then there's also... Hi, Dynamite. Dynamite's my girlfriend, by the way, in case anyone who sees this video doesn't know, if you don't watch my Let's Play series. Anxious Dynamite, and I am Anxious Cynic. I gave her that nickname, and she doesn't accept it, I don't think, but we're sticking with it, because that's what I said. Because I'm the man of the relationship. Sort of. I'm kind of a bitch. Anyway, the point is, that, you know, just showing someone going through that kind of stuff that they're not alone, that they're loved, and that you're not being there for them on a conditional basis, that you're willing to let them go through it and deal with the problems that they have in a healthy way. Obviously, if they're not doing things in a healthy way, you want to encourage them to try and be healthy about it. And you don't want to watch someone just sit there and self-destruct, but just the fact of showing someone that you care. And you're not willing to just watch them fall, but you're not also going to push them and make them try to stand up on their own when they're not ready to. So that's a big way that you can help. And, you know, if it doesn't, you know, maybe it doesn't fix them, but it helps them to cope and get through the things better than they would if they were being pushed or felt like they were all on their own and whatnot. So there's that. And that's all I can really think of right now. That's all I have in my notes, and I've collected a good bit of materials here, so I think that's pretty much gonna be it for this iteration of Miner's Philosophy. Hope that title's not too lame. I kind of feel like it is, so I may change the title at some point. In any case, I'm gonna get this last bit of coal, and then we'll head on back to the mine. Oh my god. No. Oh jeez. Is this happening? Oh. Did I do it? Did I stop it? Whew. Alright. Oh god. Oh no. Jesus. No. Stop. Don't burn. Come on. Come on. Stop burning. It's okay. We're good. We're good. Okay, we're good. Whew. Alright, we're out of here. Ugh. So long, torch. Sorry. Okay. Let's get back over here to the entrance, and then we will do the outro, I guess. Sorry about the delay here. That was some crazy stuff that just happened. No more coal? Alright. Alright, so thanks for watching, guys. Hope this wasn't like too mundane or like offbeat, you know. It's a difficult subject to address, and I didn't want to like fail it too much. So hopefully it has some relevance and perhaps will help someone who finds this video and whatnot. And, you know, I hope it was helpful if you're watching. If you're still watching and listen to me drone on incoherently about something that I probably have no idea what I'm talking about. So anyway, if you did like the video, then, you know, come back for more. Maybe you could watch my Let's Play or whatever and stick with me and be my friend, because I have none, and all those nice things. And, you know, you could like and share the video, comment, let me know what you think if you have any opinion of this video and me and what I said and how dumb I am. So yeah, and subscribe to stay up to date and come back for more and like watch my other things that are equally as terrible, right? All right. So thanks for watching again, and I will see you guys later.